you.
Hello, 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 our friends and resellers in the SkySwitch community. I'm Andy Abramson of SkySwitch, and I want to welcome you today to yet another in our wonderful webinar series. It's all about helping you sell more to your customers, keep your customers happy, and be in the forefront of being a reseller. Today, we're going to talk all about SD-WAN and how you can supercharge your VoIP deployments with a new way to intelligently connect using SD-WAN and zero trust security. Why is this important? Well, it's important for a lot of reasons. Every day, a large number of enterprises and SMBs are relying on the cloud for their communication needs and other mission critical services. VoIP services that have migrated to the cloud like SkySwitch utilize the internet. We can all suffer from quality of service issues that the internet brings, such as latency, jitter, buffer, and network congestion, which is not your fault, not your customer's fault, and not our fault. But there are solutions to get around that. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Because thankfully, there's a next generation SD-WAN and zero trust security service that can help address all those issues and more to keep your customers happy, satisfied, and coming back to you for more other services. Today, we're excited to announce that Infiat has joined the SkySwitch ecosystem and will be providing advanced SD-WAN services to you and your customers. That's right, a new brand has joined the SkySwitch ecosystem. With Infiat, you'll be able to deliver consistent VoIP policies that can be applied dynamically that will help with wide area network failover, secure VoIP transactions, provide bandwidth shaping, and it's all done using a very tiny converged edge device with integrated cellular backup. So if the main internet provider goes down, your business of your customer's business doesn't go down. So it's real important that you understand that this helps you keep uptime alive. It also does, it'll do a lot more. So today on the webinar, we're going to cover how Infiat and SkySwitch enable seamless voice failover, the prioritization of voice apps, and it also can enable easy backup. We're going to dive into what zero trust security means for UCaaS customers and how Infiat's approach to implementing user and context-based access zero trust policies make it so easy and yet at the same time so strong, and how they keep you up and running. And also, we're going to talk about how to achieve deployment flexibility with Infiat hubs to direct select data via Infiat to your data center while enabling voice to keep working through SkySwitch. You all know me. I've been with SkySwitch now for a few years. No need to talk about that. But we've got some other really cool presenters coming along with us. Rachna Srivastava is the Senior Director of Marketing for Infiat. She's responsible for identifying and executing growth levers that leverage product and solutions marketing, including all the go-to-market functions and partner development, like what she's doing with us to help SkySwitch help you more. She's got a background with Cisco, Citrix, VMware, and Palo Alto Networks. So to say that Rachna's been in the clouds for a while is no understatement. We also have Fan Gu, the head of products from Infiat. Fan heads product development, and before she joined them, she was director of product management at VeloCloud, which is now part of VMware. Fan has designed and implemented all kinds of cutting-edge technologies there and at Cisco and elsewhere. We're also going to have everyone's favorite support vice president of SkySwitch, Corey Stoker, with us. Corey's, you know very well, he's your go-to person when there's a problem or when you have a question that's going to prevent a problem. And lastly, we'll be joined by Fareed Ashan. He's our VoIP product engineer. Many of you have gotten to know Fareed since he joined us a little over a year ago. He's got a great background with Cisco, Grandstream, and 3CX. We're so happy that Fareed is not only with SkySwitch, but with us today. And with that, I'm going to pass the baton over to Rachna and have her take it away.
Thank you so much, Andy, and hello everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. Let me go ahead and start with just an introduction of the company. And Infiat has been around since 2018, and we have a leadership team with proven track record, starting with our CEO, Parag Thakur, who has a prior background as he was one of the founding team members at VeloCloud that was purchased by VMware. Anupam Rai, who's our CTO, who also was at VeloCloud that was bought by VMware, and then finally Sunil Mukundan, who's the chief architect here at Infiot, also was the one of the first engineers at VeloCloud. So have all three together, collectively the founders, have a lot of background within SD-WAN, within the voice prioritization, and within optimizing UCaaS deployments. In the short time that we've been around, we've been lucky to have received multiple industry recognitions by CR and other agencies that have awarded us in the areas of unified communications, remote work, etc. We're backed by tier one investors here in Silicon Valley, and we also have been lucky to get some very key, notable top level partners and customers under our belt. So with that, let's move on to just a little bit of an introduction of where, from our world, and as well as from what we see from our customers, where is edge networking going? So 20 years ago or so, this is the era of branch offices connecting to MPLS, and we had um, these are connected by MPLS. They were complex and expensive. But we basically had MPLS connecting the branch to the data center. And then if we needed to get to the cloud, we would do a backhaul. The next we saw is the era of cloud, suddenly an explosion in cloud applications, and starting to utilize internet as a WAN and cloud on ramp. SD-WAN came along and really started to bring that problem to bear, basically. We started seeing internet being used as a primary way of connectivity, sometimes as a backup. We started seeing branches, even smaller branches connecting to data centers or public cloud uh, via the uh, via the internet with the security and reliability of SD-WAN. But one of the things that wasn't addressed is what we see today, which is the extended enterprise, or what we like to call an extended enterprise. This could be thousands and thousands of endpoints that are all a network edge. Branch offices, mobile kiosks, pop up retail stores, ATMs, remote workers, smaller pop up sites within, let's say, a bigger office. What we're starting to see is when you have this level of complexity with thousands of endpoints, how do you really connect them? And what's really required? What's really needed is a cloud native thin edge with low TCO that is also IoT edge ready. And that's exactly what Infiot is delivering. So we're going to continue to look at how we address that problem and how we solve this. So let's start with what is the Infiot and SkySwitch cloud delivered voice service? So starting with, let's look at our solution. So we have three main components. As you can see, we have three main components. The Infiot thin wireless edge, that's our edge device that is capable of SD-WAN and security and sits at the remote user, or it could sit at the branch office. The edge is deployed via zero touch provisioning. The edge can call home to the cloud, where our management and controllers are both multi-tenant and download the policy. Now we have 4 tiers of multi-tenancy. Every time a new customer is added, the supporting infrastructure gets automatically spun up, including the management plane, control plane, and the SkySwitch POP that's connected. We build secure optimized overlay tunnels to the SkySwitch POP. Now, these SkySwitch POPs are all over the US, with the offices pretty much with POPs in Atlanta, Dallas, New Jersey, and Las Vegas. We are 100% SaaS delivered service, and all of the infrastructure is automatically spun up. That makes it really simple for MSPs and their end customers to manage the solution. What we found is, this is all done automatically. This is achieved because we have a 100% SaaS delivered model, but many established vendors are still manual. We're also PCI and HIPAA compliant, and the entire journey from installing, configuring, operating, and managing is completely simplified. Our four-layer multi-tenant solution allows, in this situation, the SkySwitch to connect to Infiot. MSPs can have their views, and their customers are further have their own views. So that makes the solution extremely simple, easy to manage, and makes it very easy for SkySwitch partners and MSP to deploy an Infiot overlay via a secure optimized tunnel over an internet or any other underlay.
Rashna, can you
Yes.
talk a little bit about performance and how performance gets improved for a customer, one of our resellers' customers, in overall throughput, reliability, dependability?
That is actually a great question and a perfect segue into the next slide, which I'm going to hand over to Fan, and she can talk about, including a small demo here, on how the benefits, at the end of the day, what's the benefit of this solution when we do have the Infiot overlay? How does the performance actually get improved, and what are we doing there?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Rachna. I'll start here, and maybe experts from SkySwitch will chime in as well. So when Rachna ended with the overlay, right? We have the overlay between the branches. It could be retail or a small branch, remote branch, or even the work from home remote users, automatically connecting to the SkySwitch POP, which is the head end where the voice is hosted. So along the way, we build up intelligence on top of it, right? That's where the SD-WAN came into play. And what we do is over the overlay, why it is magic is it have a few things very key, very important. One is monitoring. So we keep monitoring all the links that are available for the remote branch. So the link can include the private, public, or even the wireless, right? LTE, and you have the Wi-Fi as one in a lot of cases as well. So we look at all of those links, keep monitoring them, knowing what are the link conditions for those, including the jitter, latency, packet loss. So there is a constant stats that we are collecting. And based on the link and based on the application, so the solution is application aware. We have different ways for customers to define application. But out of the box, by default, we also have a very in-depth DPI engine that runs that can recognize all the applications. And then based on the priority of the application and based on the link condition that it has, we will pick the best link for that specific traffic. So that is when the initial when the traffic is sent out. And then we do have the link failover. It's sub-second. So if there's a brownout or blackout detection detected in the link that the traffic sent over, the voice traffic sent over, then we will immediately send it to another available best quality link, right, within sub-second. So as the end user, as a user, like you are making a phone call, you could hardly notice that there has been a link switch or glitch in a voice call, and there's no dead air. So that basically ensured our application when it's sending over the overlay. And when there's single link available, right, or when all the links have degraded, have a degradation concurrently, then we can also enable the single link remediation that we use the forward error correction, which has been proved to be one of the most effective way to remediate a link upon the link degradation. So those are some of the technologies we applied to the overlay that can help to ensure the application performance. And one thing we have done uniquely in Infiot is we have a single policy for SD-WAN plus security plus edge compute. For the security and edge compute, we will mention in the later slides. But the single policy is going to be applied to thousands of edges. So imagine the before, right, a per box configuration of the QoS. Now you can do it once and apply to multiple. So it's one-to-many configuration. Greatly simplified the whole configuration and the management.
How easy is this stuff to deploy for a reseller? Is it a single pane of glass for them so they can manage all of their customers that are working within Fiat on their behalf? Is this how do you get up and running, and what do the resellers need to know to see how easy it can be because we know how easy it is, but you need to explain, I think, how simple and uncomplicated the Infiat team has made this.
Yeah, sure. First of all, with the joint solution between Infiat and SkySwitch, right? We are all SaaS based, so everything is hosted by either Infiat for the management and control plane, and or a SkySwitch for the head end of for the voice service. So as the customer, they don't have to worry about installing the management plane, installing all the servers, and installing all the hub head end. So that is one thing that greatly simplified that. The second part is zero touch provisioning, right? So Rachna mentioned that earlier. For zero touch, what happens is we can drop ship the device, the edge device, which is palm size or the iPhone size, the edge to the remote sites. And then anyone who is at the site, right, doesn't have to be IT person, can plug in the edge to the power and then the broadband, and then access the just click on the email that will be that is sent out from the remote from the IT admin, right? That the email is triggered from the Infiat portal. So the person or Lisa, basically they are at the office, they click on the email, that will trigger the edge to call home to Infiat portal to download the policies. That, as said, the policy will include the SD-WAN security and edge compute, right? All the policy will be downloaded at once, and then it will start to build overlay. So zero touch provision and this whole cloud management, SaaS 100 SaaS based management. I think those are the two, one of the two keys, critical for the ease of management.
We actually have a question from Jim Kubicek. He was talking about your mention of sub-second failover. He wants to know if you're able to achieve true sub-second failover, what does the usage look like over a metered connection?
If you're able to achieve, what does this usage look like? So metered condition, I assume this is talking about LTE. So sub-second failover, that thing you can choose, right, which link, if you want to use that link for the failover. Normally we have seen the LTE is people use it very, very cautiously and use it as a backup link. So in a regular condition, like you can also control when to failover, like based on the SLA as well. So yeah, so the link usage, I would say, like it depends on depend on the link condition.
Okay, I hope that answers Jim's question fully. As we move on, the whole thing here with SD-WAN is to ensure really strong connectivity and to maintain the network so that calls are not interrupted or disrupted. What makes the Infiat solution so good at doing that?
Oh, Jim says no, not answer the question. So so maybe Jim, you can like elaborate a little bit more on the question part.
Yeah, I can clarify what he's asking. Yeah. We can either take it offline or we can hopefully have an answer here. I don't know the exact number. It is fairly low, but what he's asking is to maintain the LTE connection with the LTE provider. There has to be some data sent between just on a regular basis. So he's asking about what kind of or how much data is being pushed by the Infiat when a LTE connection is in standby mode for the LTE connection to kind of act like an active failover. If that makes sense. I've heard the number, but I don't remember the exact number. Got it.
Yeah. So yeah, we can probably take it offline. I can check with the team on the data, like basically the data usage for for the LTE, right? I think that was the question.
Okay, let's move on to the next slide. So why don't you talk a little bit about the whole network architecture that we've set up, and Corey and Fareed, if you need to add to what our friends at Infiat are saying, this will be really helpful, because what we've done is we've created something that is helpful and supportive without being interfering. So let's dive into that.
Yeah, I can talk to this. So without being cost prohibitive and to be able to achieve a quick launch and make sure that we're able to provide great voice services over the overlay, we've launched hubs in each of our data centers, and we do routing directly to the data centers for voice specific traffic. Actually, any traffic that's destined to our network will go over the overlay. Any other traffic will go out of the local internet connection, and you can still control both QoS and which links the traffic goes out on from the Infiat itself. There are pretty much automated policies that we put in place every time a unit is launched that just routes that traffic for any of our subnets to the correct hub. So we get kind of a great voice connection that works in a slightly different way than other SD-WAN solutions. And for technical details, we can kind of take that offline as to how it works. But it's huge for us. We also have the ability, and Infiat's going to talk about that here in a little bit, for you to launch your own hub. So if you have specific data in your data center, say like a Microsoft remote desktop server that you want to provide your customers secure access to, you can install your own hub in that data center and just go directly for that traffic while still routing all of the traffic to SkySwitch to our network.
Yeah, and to add to what Corey is saying here is initially I talked about the three components of the solution, which was our edge, the multi-tenant architecture, and the ability to have POPs. And in this case, this would be our partner, which is SkySwitch. Additionally, we also have our hubs that are in the cloud, which we call the Cloud Services Fabric, that allow cloud on-ramp for SaaS. So, whether it's Office 365 or any other SaaS applications, essentially. Additionally, just to repeat what Corey is saying, we also have the ability to provide customers an on-premise capability to do SD-WAN via SkySwitch that we can work, where customers can then send specific traffic to their own data center and still have that same optimized experience.
How does multi-tenancy play into this, Rachna?
So in this case, and there is a slide ahead which we will cover, do a deeper dive on multi-tenancy. But here, essentially, if you think about Infiat, it's a 4-tier architecture. And so it's a very robust architecture. You have Infiat, then we can have, SkySwitch is connected to Infiat and is a view of all of their MSPs and partners. Each of the MSP or partner then has a view into their own end customers. And then the end customers have a view into their own environment. So if they wanted to look at, I want to log into my own portal and see, monitor my connections from this particular user who might be, how's their VoIP doing versus how is their other traffic performing, what kind of data is being transferred, view into their applications. The individual end customer can then go and look at that view and really have that visibility, what policies are being sent. The advantage to the MSP is the MSP is actually able to clone. And, it's very easy to spin up a new end customer. Let's say an end customer wanted to add some new locations, or a new end customer is coming on board. We have a slide that will actually cover how this is done, but in a very, very simple manner. We can clone the full end customer experience and then the related management, the controllers, the POPs, all of that get automatically spun up. So multi-tenancy, of course, plays a huge role. And as the configuration or as the deployment gets more and more complex, that SaaS delivered capability and that automation become extremely valuable to save MSPs, precious time and money, and as well as just resources.
Yeah, maybe I think the next slide would probably dive a little bit more into the multi-tenancy.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically in this, like we got a screenshot of the for the portal in terms of the cloning the tenant. As Rachna has mentioned, we have 4-tier multi-tenancy built-in for in-field. And thanks to SkySwitch, a lot of feedback on the product side to shape the feature and how it looks and how the user are going to use them. So thanks to that. But from the UI perspective, right, each partner can will have their own login. When they log in, they will see all their own customers, and then when they can click their customers to get the view of all the edges of that customer. And for the mass deployment, normally what we have seen is probably the partner will create a cookie cutter or template customer, let's say customer A. And then customer B is very similar to A in terms of there are a few edge configurations and also policies that they would like to reuse. In that case, they can simply click on the customer and then have the option of clone. And then in this screenshot, you see the partner will have the option to choose which edges or which policies to include when they do when the cloning happens. So this will simplify the partner deployment for the end customer.
With all this, obviously there's a lot going on, and we're going to keep this thing moving along quickly because we know that our resource time is valuable. Obviously, there's a need to monitor and also to be able to remotely troubleshoot. SkySwitch does a lot of that for our network. How does Infiat provide the same type of monitoring and troubleshooting to customers using the Infiat SD-WAN?
Yeah, that's a good question. That actually leads to the next slide, I believe. Yeah. So, yeah, basically via Infiat, we do have a very intensive monitoring capabilities, including all the stats from the link, from the path, like the overlay, also the flows. The one that you're seeing here, this is a screenshot from the one link, right? If you see on the top, it do have different tabs for the monitoring, and it provides a historical view for different metrics. On the drop down, you see the latency, jitter, packet loss, and the throughput, and data usage as well. And what you also see, this is built on top of the link, the overlays. So we do have like per path, you can get a very detailed historical stats to see like at what point what is the usage, at what point what is the problem for the link or overlay, to narrow down the problem, to narrow down the issue. And similarly, we do have a view for the flows. So from the flow, you can see if the flow have been hitting the right policy, and from there you can help to troubleshoot whether you should change the policy, or like there's something wrong and like below that at the link level that can cause the issue. So a lot of stats easy to navigate that will help our customers to troubleshoot and monitor. And build on top of that later on, that we also have analytics, more advanced analytics that we probably can talk in a bit.
Thanks, Fan. So I want to talk a little bit about the edge itself. So we've talked about the need for having a thin wireless device that we're calling edge that connects to the SkySwitch POPs and provides secure optimized connectivity for UCaaS deployments. Now, a little bit about our portfolio. So we have two edges in our portfolio, starting with what you're seeing on the left, which is the Edge 101. We're calling that the universal edge because it actually is a dual purpose. It can serve as a cellular gateway, and it also serves as a integrated SD-WAN device with multiple services all part of it. We have different options to mount this edge, whether it's a desktop or wall or ceiling. The edge also has built-in LTE with dual slot SIMs. It is certified by AT&T and Verizon, so that brings a lot of flexibility, and it also enables having support for global carriers. It's a very compact form factor. It's smaller, again, designed by design, smaller than a smartphone. So very easy to be placed anywhere, and it's PoE powered. So that's, again, another huge advantage. We've also given it, achieved the Class 1 Div 2 certification. It's IP rated. So it's ideal for any type of harsh environments, depending on where this might be. It might be a temporary office that's being put up, and we want to continue and do some UCAS type work that can easily be achieved here. The second one is the Edge 100. Again, this is more designed for a remote user or a micro branch type environment, so smaller environment. It also has a USB option and has this ability to use LTE for primary or backup. And LTE can be connected via the USB. We can also easily tether a smartphone, and that can be used as a backup. So in many cases, when we have critical video calls or voice calls that are going on, and we want to be able to utilize that sub-second failover and all of the capabilities of SD-WAN, may not be able to do in the home office unless you have a second link. This really makes that a possibility. The other option is another key feature that we have, which is Wi-Fi as WAN. And here, the edge can actually connect to the LAN port of a home router. And that enables completely air gapping the corporate network. There is no change or any setup needed for the home environment. It just basically connects to the LAN or to the Wi-Fi and then goes off and provides a completely separate network. This is also ideal for external environments, for example, people working at a coffee shop, where you basically connect to the Wi-Fi of the coffee shop system, and then you're basically up and running and getting that full SD-WAN and security capabilities. So far, we have covered the solution within Fiat, SD-WAN, and also the cloud on-ramp capabilities. Next couple of slides, we want to discuss some of the advanced services that we're offering. But just quickly, I wanted to also show you sort of everything that we have, starting with high-value security services, that is built-in content filtering, IDS, IPS, firewalling. Also edge compute capabilities. We'll talk about that a little bit, just to kind of give you a flavor of what we can achieve even in the IT world when it comes to edge computing, including sort of full container lifecycle management for a variety of use cases.
Yeah, and I want to clarify that by default, we're launching kind of the light licensing for Infiat, which don't include some of the services we're going to talk about here, but you can create the licensing to get the additional functionality if needed.
Yes. So anything beyond this point is sort of what we're calling as advanced service capabilities that we have. So with that, I wanted to also cover one of the capabilities. We're just highlighting 2 or 3. So we're covering one of them, which is business insights or productivity score. Here, the first chart you see up here. Now, what we can do is business leaders can get a sense of how productive their remote employees are. Contact center agents or anybody else who's working fixed times on by the hour. And this score is a productivity score that's calculated based on application usage over time. So, we're tracking things like if the employee is streaming a movie at home or, during the working hours, or, what are things that they're doing. And that may, go against their score. And that policy is completely up to the business leader, how they want to craft that policy. But depending on whatever the policy is, we are tracking if the employee is measuring against those policies and then providing a productivity score or rating based on which the leaders can then have conversations with employees. And the second chart you see here is advanced analytics. Fan touched upon that, providing full visibility into traffic flow and stats. For example, we are completely able to see which device is sending traffic to which application. We have which QoS queue, which ISP and to what head end. So that complete visibility is very powerful when it comes to troubleshooting over time and really able to pinpoint exactly where that problem might be happening. So giving that complete picture, again, that becomes extremely relevant. Fan, over to you.
Sure. Yeah, thanks, Rachna. So another feature that we are launching as well is this remote access to the devices. What we realize from time to time is when people trying to troubleshoot for the devices behind the edge, right? Either it could be a phone, or it could be a IoT device. Accessing the device from the data center or from outside is very convoluted. So maybe the remote desktop ports have to, forwarding port has to be set up, and also screen sharing for the screen sharing, right? So that the local user can share how the to access share what is the UI or the SSH for the local phones. So what we are doing is what we are trying to achieve is from in-field portal, you can have a click button just to say, I want to access SSH or HTTP to the device, whichever is supported by the device directly. So without all the troublesome firewall or port forwarding configurations. So this is what we are trying to achieve. And the screenshot you're seeing is kind of a prototype right now. Like it's in early beta version. Basically, the user, like we can detect all the devices on the portal, and then user can apply policy and claim whether the device is managed or not. And then from the device, like the user can click into how to access that device. So here the example is accessing a phone from the in-field portal. We believe that is very powerful when coming to the troubleshooting, right? And make life much simpler for the IT.
What are some of the benefits and what are some of the outcomes when this is deployed?
Yeah, so we would like to save time for everyone from the IT and from IT to the end user, and also ease the coordination, right? When the IT probably can comment more, but when the support call enable, maybe like there's coordination have to be done with the security team to open up ports or to configure the firewall, either remotely or like from different teams. So cross-team coordination, that would be hopefully that can be saved. And yeah, so for the user, that they don't have to like the time to wait could be shorter. So less support costs and shorter support costs. Yeah.
Okay, so all this troubleshooting happens as part. Corey, can you explain if someone has an issue, they come to our tier 1 support, and then at what point do we have to bring in the InFiat team in this troubleshooting process? Or does this troubleshooting process happen where no one has to involve the SkySwitch support team or InFiat?
Yeah, actually, the reseller would be able to do just about all of their own troubleshooting from the edge, and SkySwitch is here to help with the tier 1 and tier 2 support. So if we'll help with both the demo of the product and getting you comfortable with using it on your first unit, as well as troubleshooting problems as you come up with them until you're comfortable with them. At any time, we can escalate to InFiat support, and that's one thing that we've been very happy with in our partnership over the past few months during integration. We've been able to get almost immediate resolution on just about everything. 1 day turnaround, typically, to resolve bugs or issues.
That's great. You guys want to deliver a little bit more information on things like lifecycle management and how bandwidth gets more conserved and how everything can be analyzed, because this whole distributed edge computing platform that InFiat has built is far more than just an SD-WAN. It's got a lot more under the hood than other SD-WANs that we've looked at, which is why our team at SkySwitch made the decision to offer InFiat to our resellers. And so our resellers can offer a really high quality, superior experience to their customers?
Yeah. So that's a good lead to the next two points that we wanted to make before the main content is finished. So the first one is zero trust security. So out of the box, in-field have stateful firewall. It's application aware, like people can configure rules based on application, whether they want to deny or allow the traffic. And we also offer the URL filtering, and IDS is on the way. One thing that we also did is looking at the modern security solutions, that is zero trust security. What it does differently is based on the user identity, always validate, and then based on the user identity to grant access. So imagine in the past when we have this VPN concept, when the user get on the VPN, they can access everything. From like as an engineering or as a sales contractor, so they can access all the cross team resources. So you have to configure very complex access rules in the data center in order to filter some of those to block the access. So the way we are looking at it also based on the zero trust principle is we will based on the identity, the user group, which group do they belong to, and then grant access to the specific application. So like right now, like on the screen you're seeing, left is a contractor, right? It could be a HR contractor. On the right is the engineering team. So the contractor, they can access the Facebook or to reach out to people, but they should not be able to access the GitHub, which is a purely engineering resource. For engineering, vice versa, the manager want them to work, so they block the Facebook but allow the GitHub. So that is a very straightforward use case for the zero trust security. So next one is on the distributed edge compute. So we have also seen a lot of ask from the field, and of course this also IoT industry as well, to have the application locally installed on the remote sites. So it could be a distributed application, or it could be agent based. For example, ThousandEye. For ThousandEye, like normally there will be a server like the ThousandEye agent installed at the remote site that can do the probing to the network to gather the performance of the applications. In this case, what we have enabled is to simplify the lifecycle management of ThousandEye agent, as an example, to run on the edge itself. So no additional servers, no additional operations to install the server, maintain the server. It's all via the in-field portal, via the policy. So how it works is we do support this service catalog. You think of it as a private enterprise app marketplace, right? Where the admin can launch different applications from either a private repository or from the GitHub public repository. And then they can configure the basic configurations for the app to run. And then at the policy level, the user the admin would just say, I want to enable this application for this policy. And then what happened behind the scene is all the edges associated to the same policy will get the software downloaded or the container downloaded, and then the software downloaded and enabled in the container, and then it will start to work, right? The people can start to use it. And in this example, basically, it's a ThousandEye installation. It's almost zero touch from the configuration to the ThousandEye agent on the edge. Yeah. So that is where we have bring to the table, like both the zero trust security and edge compute, in addition to the SD-WAN.
Well, it sounds like you've got a complete solution here. Why don't we go into next steps so our resellers can understand how they can start selling in fiat and being comfortable with the way in fiat works.
Yeah. And thanks, Andy. I'm just going to quickly summarize, everything that we've covered here. SkySwitch is enabling a very simple and easy way to route voice and data services within fiat. We talked about that. Multi-tenancy and SaaS allow complete visibility into end users, and spinning up new users is as simple as just single click. We also have the full-featured next-gen SD-WAN that gives complete blackout, brownout protection, sub-second failover, and single-link remediation. LTE is integrated, can be used as both primary or backup link. And of course, we saw with some of the examples here how troubleshooting becomes extremely simple and really in-depth, detailed monitoring capabilities that provide complete visibility. And we have some next steps that we would like you to go through. Corey, if you can cover those, please, that would be great.
Absolutely. So these products are in the store today. And if you have other questions or want to schedule a demo to walk through the units, you can contact store@skyswitch.com. Right now, they're in the store with a 20% discount. And these are priced a little bit differently than other units. They are licensed for 3 years, but you can see pricing within this. And we are offering an NFR program. Again, if you contact store@skyswitch.com, you can get more information on the NFR program. But once you deploy the unit or purchase your first unit, it would automatically just go back and schedule a demo with you to set you up and walk you through the basics and help you get started.
Corey, this sounds like a really good opportunity for our resellers, not only to improve the quality of service they can offer to their customers, but to also make some significant money by reselling something that is so necessary. With more and more workers working from home in either a full-time or hybrid manner as a result of the pandemic, with more businesses going remote every day, large and small, having effective SD-WAN deployments is going to really be a game changer for the resellers' customers and how they're able to service their business. So we encourage everyone, reach out to your SkySwitch representative. Don't wait. We'll schedule some internal private demos with you because we really are excited about the relationship with Infiat as much as we've ever been with a new partner on board.
Thank you so much, Andy.
We have a few questions. First question, I'll throw this one to Corey from Jim Kubasek. If SkySwitch is doing our Tier 1 support and we deploy Infiat, will SkySwitch also support Tier 1 on Infiat?
Yeah, that's a great question. So if you're using our Tier 1 support as providing support to your direct customer through our program, we do have a policy that we won't manipulate any sort of LAN, WAN, router settings and so on, but they can look into the issue and issues as well as escalate internally to the people who are supporting the product. They would require you to jump in and help make the changes because we're not going to make changes to your customer's network without your knowledge.
Okay, next question comes from Arthur Gaplanian. I noticed that both of the edge units have max throughput of 100 megabits per second. For offices that have high bandwidth, such as fiber connectivity, this will severely slow down their network for remote workers. Are these edge devices meant to be used with a dedicated internet service for voice? Who wants to answer that? Fareed or Corey or Rashna?
Yeah, I can take it. There's also actually a gig unit available in the store. So it wasn't shown in the presentation here, but you can find it in the store as well as pricing.
Okay, well, one more question from Dale Morgan. What's the ideal size range for a customer? 10 to 50 endpoints? How many do you think?
That's a good question. Fareed, I believe you've broached the topic of just overall packet throughput. I don't recall off the top of my head what they max out on. Do you happen to have those numbers, Fareed?
I mean, maximum number of endpoints behind the edge, you mean?
Yes.
What end?
It's a high number, and I think we may just have to get back to you, and we'll make sure to add that into our documentation. They are very capable and have powerful processors in them, so it's not going to limit you to like 50 users.
All I can tell you is I was trying to hit the max on my lab, but I couldn't, so I keep adding phones. I certainly have over 40 endpoints here, and yeah. But we can research, see if we have that number and get back to you offline. Great.
Well, with that, I'm going to wrap up and say thank you to our friends at Infiat. Of course, I'll always thank Corey and Fareed for getting up so early. And Corey, in your case, it's West Coast time, and Fareed, you're in the office. And our friends at Infiat who are up in the Bay Area, thank you again for pulling together such a great product that looks like it could really be a game changer for our resellers, but more importantly, for our resellers' customers. If you have any questions, remember, please contact your SkySwitch Salesforce team member, because they're the ones who can help you get settled and get established with Infiat. On behalf of all of SkySwitch, I want to thank Erica Vasquez again for doing such a great job at pulling things together. We're excited that you're all here and look forward to you joining again for our next upcoming webinar. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.